Oh my. So it's morning in Denmark and pretty good time to wake up, but I'm pretty tired as usual. But I had trouble sleeping, after the last video I made. See if we can get the. There we go. No, that's pretty dark. After the last video I made in regards to the Nystatin, not really having, looking back and thinking back, the problem is there's so many things and I can't remember everything. But in the beginning, when I began to take Nystatin, that was a slight, headache, just a slightly, not that much, but just slightly. Which, of course, if it begins to kill off the candida, then of course that would probably be the cause. What else do I remember? There was something else as well, which I can't remember at the moment. But not really anything big. So after the video, I pretty much went downhill. I was trying to sleep, yet I had, not totally wild, but I had the sense of wanting to puke. So now, of course, these symptoms are pretty much written in regards of Nystatin symptoms as well. So and of course, I would expect things to come about, and what was the third? I had another thing that in the beginning, the first 2 days. So slightly headache, not that much in the beginning. I don't have headache at the moment, but what a bad night. I really had trouble. It's like it's not like my heart is beating, but it seems like a little difference, and the feeling of puking and all that, that was, and again, it was not a totally strong feeling of puking, but it was absolutely there. I even dreamt of taking Nystatin, and it was horrible. But again, it could be a lot worse. It could be absolutely a lot worse. What was the second? I was laying there and thinking about, what do I have other things of symptoms? That was something else. And I can't remember it now. That's incredible how. So I guess it's working, it must be doing something at least. And that's nice, of course. Because we wanted to do some things, and we wanted to kill off all the candida in the gut. So yeah, that's great. Well, I was maybe a little too quickly in regards of saying, oh well, that's not really anything and all that, because it was somewhat. I'm actually not feeling that bad at the moment, got a toilet, what do you call it, a morning toilet trip and all that. That probably also helped, on getting things out. So what was the other thing? It's just incredible how things just, there's so many things, and just apparently sometimes you forget. There was the headache, and that was the stomach. That you can feel like the stomach. There's a kind of a difference in regards of not totally pain, but just a little. Just a slight discomfort down there in the gut. That was the other. Yeah, okay, there we go. I don't know how that could fly out of my head, but anyway, so a little headache. A little, pain in the gut and all that, a little discomfort, and now on the third day, I was thinking, laying there yesterday, going to sleep, and just, not long after the video, some hours after the video, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should actually, go down in regards of dose, because this doesn't, this is a little, yeah, again, it's actually not that bad, but it was it was enough to make me have, you know, issues actually sleeping. So getting to sleep. So I guess I'll continue with the dose of 500 million units, and you know, if it gets overwhelmed, I'll just, you know, loosen down on the dose if that's the case. So I'll have some food and I'll take my first one, and yeah, it's nice to being awake, you know, in the morning. So that's at least nice. Oh, that's a little headache here. I guess again, if you begin to kill off the candida, the idea is that they, you know, all the gut material of these fungi are getting out and apparently can be absorbed by the system then and give you some. I don't know if you call it die off or whatever, but you know. And again, they say these symptoms stops when the fungi is killed. So that's of course, well, the other guy that I saw on the internet, you know, it's like, what was like on the 5th day that it began to after 5 days or something like that. He came out of, you know, where he became, where he was better. So anyway, so yeah. So pretty good, at least it seems like it's doing something. So that's nice. Haven't had any problem in regards of my toilet visits or anything. That seems pretty solid still, you know. And that could be one of the symptoms. Also in regards of feeling like, you know, puking and all that is one of the symptoms that I read about and that you can get. And again, it wouldn't really be a surprise if you're killing a lot of Candida albicans, you know, killing a lot of fungi, and their gut material is spewing out and all that. That, of course, would make some, you know, make some havoc in regards of things, you know, and yeah. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I guess that's my update. I don't really have much more. I guess I'll just continue with it and see how it goes. But yeah, it's also hard to totally clarify the, you know, I might not be the best one to do these, you know, in regards of explaining things. But yeah, I guess again continuing and see how it progress. And I have enough things to do, you know, a lot of reading in regards of fungi. More study, more words to get in your head, and I'm feeling like there's absolutely a progress in regards of understanding how these doctors write and so forward, and I'm thinking of different things. I do wonder, you know, that's one. I do wonder. I don't know but I do wonder because when I took a lot of, and that was before I took the Nystatin. I drank 1.5 liters of really low pH yogurt that I've made in my home. Really, really, really low. It's like nearly tasting like lemon, you know. It's really, really, really low. And that should be positive for helping your gut and all that. Sadly, I think I have some other issues in regards of, you know, joints and so forward. That seems to actually be promoted, more by drinking these. Any case, whatever. So I drank 1.5 liters, and I began to have some, pain in my throat and, you know, ear and all that. And I was thinking, you know, why would this happen? Because I'm drinking probiotics, you know, and I can't remember if I actually had that when I did a lot of kefir in, you know, days back, you know. Again, it's hard to remember everything and all that. I can't remember if that was if I ever got that symptom by drinking a lot of kefir. But anyway, I drank 1.5 liters of this, you know, really low pH yogurt, which should have a huge amount of probiotics, which is also making the sour thing, as I understand it, and which apparently the bad bacteria don't like. And I was drinking 1.5, and low sugar as well, by the way. Low sugar and high amount of probiotics and all that. And I was thinking, you know, getting this, throat thing and all that, the little pain in the throat and all that, and, in regard to the ear. And I was thinking maybe this is actually a symptom and not the cause. I'm thinking in regards to when people have issues in regards to the throat and the ears, and they have a hard time swallowing and have pain and all that, I do wonder if that is actually just the symptom and not the cause. And then when we take an antibiotic, which is just fungus poison from a mold, it's really... but anyway, when we take that, it goes down and destroys the good bacteria in the gut. Now, what if actually this up here is actually just a symptom for what is going down there, and the symptom is actually just a symptom in regards to that the bacteria trying to correct something that is wrong in our body, and then we take a fungus poison and just annihilate the good guys. And thereby, by annihilating the good guys, that actually tries to restore us to health. Well, the symptom might go away, but the cause is still there, and thereby it might actually get out of hand. I'm just thinking, out of the box. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I'm just thinking, maybe this, when we have a throat thing and all that, maybe it's actually not the cause. Maybe that's the symptom for something going on down there, and the good bacteria trying to correct it. And when we take the fungus poison, then it's annihilating the good bacteria that is trying to restore the things, and thereby the symptom stops, yes, but the fungus then can, for example, go wild. And also, if the pH, according to this article I read, the pH, the pH and other sources, the pH seems to be having an effect on Candida albicans. So you have the probiotics that lowers the pH, and I guess that would also be in the gut, right? Lowering the gut pH. So the environment is not suitable for the Candida to go haywire. Now, if we throw fungus poison down there, and we destroy those bacteria that might actually be upholding a good environment down there, well, that might actually make for a good environment for the Candida, and thereby it can go haywire, because if a low pH actually helps getting it in control, and if a higher pH is actually making it actually in its dangerous form and all that, that would make sense. That when we kill off the good guys, that actually lowers the... It's the same with when you sour things. You have the good guys and the bad guys, and you want the good guys to win and lower the pH so the bad guys cannot survive in the souring process, or in regards of if you're making sauerkraut, or you're putting salt in it, because the good guys apparently don't have so much issues with salt, but the bad guys have issues with salt. So you salt it, and then you hope that the good guys win. Now, if you don't put salt in it, there's more of a thing that the bad guys might actually overtake it, and then you get a bad batch. If you put salt in it, you have a much more better chance that the good guys actually wins out. So, and that's one of the reasons why I guess it's probably the main reason why you actually put salt into the sauerkraut. So that's just one of the processes where you can see that, and when it begins to lower the pH, at some point the bad bacteria or the bad guys, have a hard time surviving in this environment. So, okay, so again, the research paper I saw yesterday about it was interesting to see. That was in regards of garlic and lactobacillus something, one of these good guys, talking about, talking about how the Candida was, you can see the data points and all that. I think they had like 6 data points or something like that on the thing, where they had the good guys and the Candida albicans, and then they had 6 data points for the other one where they put garlic into it as well. And with the garlic, it's, over time it annihilated actually pretty quickly, actually, over some hours. It's pretty much just annihilated the Candida albicans with the garlic as well. So where the first batch, the bacteria, the good bacteria, seems to needing to lower the pH, and after I think it was 24 hours, the Candida albicans was going down. Now they didn't have any data points for that were like jumping from 6 hours to 24 hours. So you couldn't really see when it actually began to go down, because all the other data points like 2, 4, 6. I was like 2, 4, 6 hours or something like that. You can see that the Candida was growing and the Lactobacillus was growing. I think it was called Lactobacillus, something in regards to that. The probiotics, the good bacteria. So they were growing and all that, but the Candida was still growing. And yeah, you could see the pH was lowering and lowering and lowering. So the good guys must, be lowering the pH, it seems. So, yeah. So I don't know how the Lactobacillus or, how they work against Candida albicans, but apparently it seems like it's one of these that actually keeps it under control. And one of the things, as I understand it, is regards to the pH, lowering the pH. But I don't know if there's other ways of actually, Anyway, very interesting article nonetheless. And I'm still a little, I will continue with it. At the moment, it's not, so bad. And it's morning. It's, the weather is bad as usual here in this Denmark and gray. A lot of skies. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, no blue. It's just clouds, as the eye goes. It's just clouds. Not a slide of blue on the, and that's typical. And again, it seems like fungus, in regards to the weather, seems to have an impact, in regards to fungus as well. So yeah, it's a monster pretty much. But yeah, besides that, pretty good. Still have the itch on my hands, my face and all that, and my legs and all that. Mostly my arms are pretty much, the arms and my head is pretty much the worst in regards of, I know how to explain it. It's like itch and somewhat of a sign, kind of pain, and yeah, it's, it helps blowing on it, if you blow on the arms, it helps. But the itch and crawling and I guess somewhat of a pain. It's a little hard to explain. It's annoying. The legs is pretty much just, it's mostly itchy and crawling sensations here and there. So yeah. So I need to see if I can get that diflucan, and I should be, again, if I get the diflucan, I should be very. It should be very easy to actually figure out if it works pretty soon, because if the itch is in regards of Candida albicans, if it actually is, as I suspect, as I pretty much think it is, that if it's Candida albicans out in my body that is making this itch and crawling sensation and all that, it seems like the dots that I've gotten from, which seems to be damage to the skin in some sense. Again, I don't know the whole thing about it, but it seems to be related, yet it's not in regards of the itch directly. So again, I'm still thinking that the mycotoxins or the fungus poison being released by the, for example, when it exploded totally after I had been eating bread and sugary things from the bakery, which was just totally foolish. I should have known better. I should have been keeping to my meat diet, because that doesn't seem to actually put fuel on the fire. And it just totally exploded, and these damages to the skin seem to, and again, it makes sense if the fungi is readying up in regards of its babies, and then just releases these. Releases the. I do wonder if Candida albicans can live in a sac in the body, because I remember having this, thing down under my my ribs, like in regards to this size or something like that, and I just felt like there was like a black spot there that that was weird, it was probably not black, if you could have checked it out, but like underneath the rib in the middle. And when it's just exploded, I do wonder if that would have been a fungi sac. And then I do wonder if Candida can actually make fungi sacs. Can Candida actually make a fungi sac? Would that be another fungi? Wow, it's fun. I don't know. Whatever the case. But exploded in both directions, to the left and the right. Went around my breast, I could feel it, it's just like I went around my breast and made a U-turn and just jumped into my breast, and I could just feel like it was hitting the. I do wonder, maybe, but anyway. Yeah, and then I began to have issues in regards to this and the breast and all that, and the spots on the skin as well. Never had spots on the skin, but and it just correlates with. And then when the other explosion came, and then just more and more spots, it's just incredible, and the itch. But it does seem like my one hand doesn't really have any spots on it. It's not. There's some small minor things, but it's not really, not really. And there's still itch on that hand. So it doesn't seem it's the same thing. It might be, I'm thinking that it might come from the mycotoxins, the other spots and all that, and that the itch might actually be the fungi that are growing, and. Boring into the skin and all that might make the itch. That's my theory anyway. But on the other hand, maybe it's a little hard to see in the camera, but there are a couple of spots on that that came about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And these black, these brown spots and all that, which some people have as normal and all that, but who knows? Maybe they also have, a fungi that is just not really. We are eating so much sugar and we are drinking so much alcohol, and we're pretty much ripe for fungus issues, and we might not even know, even if you have a fungi here and there, you might even not have any symptoms as such, So, as they say, But on this hand, I have the itch as well. But apparently, it's not directly fixed with the spots But again, there seems to be a correlation in regards to the explosion, getting spots and the itch and all that. And again, I would think that if the fungi wants to have its baby surviving, right? If it's releasing a lot of spores, its babies, to spread more in your body, up in your face, down your legs, whatever, out in your arms more, and making things worse. Actually, I already had, issues in my arms at that point. But anyway, didn't make it better in regards to the explosion. I didn't have the itch at that point. But anyway, So if it actually wants to spread more, and because I was feeding it, as stupid as I was, it might release a huge amount of mycotoxins as well to keep the immune system suppressed and on its work on other things, so the babies can survive. That seems to make sense, and that might actually be some of the things that are then making damage to the skin. That's my idea anyway. I don't know, I'm just a nutcase, right? The world thinks to semen, these white coat murderers. I don't know. You begin to question yourself, in regards of your own sanity. Oh, am I just making it all up because they, you just get, but it's bullshit. Utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. These people that, have a great, what do you call it? A great, they have authority, and they're looking, these people are clever, right? Because they're walking around in white coats and all that. and people listens to them and all that, and maybe actually that's the one of the dangers, that people have a way of just listening to them. It's interesting. I talked to an older guy in the swimming hall yesterday, and he began to talk about being to this and getting some medicine in regards of the heart or something like that, which it was prevention. So you take drugs, and I think actually Doc have talked something in regards of this of some of these drugs in regards of something in regards of cholesterol, that he had too high cholesterol. So he was giving something for this high cholesterol and so forward. And I guess people are just, there's a huge amount of discussion in regards of cholesterol, if the cholesterol is actually bad. Because as I understand, it's like, is it 1/3 of the cells that we have is cholesterol or something like that? Like we have cholesterol and the fungi have, what was it called? It has something else, and that's the idea why the antifungals are working. The nystatin goes ergosterol, I think it was. So we have cholesterol in our cells, and I think it was like 1/3 of the cell or something like that. I can't remember the exact. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway, the ergosterol is in what is in the fungus. And that is why, for example, that this works, because this goes in and disturbs the ergosterol, and thereby the fungi explodes. I'm not sure if you can actually use this high word that they have of the apoptosis. They have this, they have all of these, high level ranking words. So it just swoops over your head, right? But apoptosis, as I understand, is like, for example, a cell that is damaged can go into apoptosis or something like that, and it explodes itself, and then it will be gobbled up. The remnants will be gobbled up by the immune system, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you can actually use that. It seems like some sources use this word also in regards of fungi. When you take a fungi, a fungicidal, which is, in regards of killing of fungi, like nystatin in the gut, what's it called, a mycoticum or something like that. I think you can actually call it, I think it was in English you also have mycoticum or mycotica. I can't argue. That's a plural and singular form and whatever. Any case, against fungus, anti-fungus, against fungus, a fungicidal, yeah. Many words, right, but anyway, when you begin to kill off these, that's the idea, they explode, the gut explode, We have a field there, and knowing that they are just exploding on the field, right? Anyway, but I do wonder in regards of, could nystatin actually kill something in the gut that is actually useful for the gut? Could you actually damage something in your gut by taking it? And I haven't really found any sources that you could. It seems like people, if anything, might just be getting better if they use it, killing off the Candida albicans down there, after going through the period of, so that will be interesting. I've read, for example, that the Candida albicans can put a layer in the gut that makes it harder for you to actually absorb the nutrients in your food. And of course, if you have that in your gut, making, that the Candida is stealing your nutrients already there, and you also have it on board, systemic in the body, then of course it would steal your nutrients there as well. So you have a thief first stealing, in the gut, and then you have a thief stealing in regards of your body, in regards of nutrients, stealing the nutrients that you should use, that for your body, and that your system have used time on breaking down and, preparing it for you, and then you just have a fungi coming around and saying, hey, I'll take that. Anyway, I don't know, I don't have all the pieces together and all that, but yeah. See if I need to call around and see if I can, and again I have some articles again that I need to read. Again, there's so many things to do in so little time. I don't understand why people, when people say, oh, what, in regards of, oh, you have, what are you using all the time, Are you kidding me? With all these issues that we have in society and all that, and, this is an incredible amount of things to dig into, and in regards of our health as well, and what we do in regards of destruction of our food, and when our white coat murderers can't do their job and just misdiagnose you, and and you have to use a huge amount of time figuring out what is the problem in the first case, And again, I think they actually did diagnose it correctly in the beginning. I don't know actually what they, I could probably, there's probably some written things in regards to these medical, Latin spouters, so understand that I haven't really been in looking at that. In regards to when they gave me the fungus cream down there for my penis, and I think they were on the right track. And sadly, when they couldn't, when that didn't work, they did the issue was not fixed. And when you don't fix the issue, well, it tends to get worse, because you didn't fix it. So, but I think they actually was on the right track at that point, but then their education pretty much goes into utter darkness, and they don't know much after that. And thereby, it's just up in your brain. You just need some psychotropic drugs. And then you put you on psychotropic drugs. It's a madhouse, utter madhouse, instead of actually fixing the cause. Maybe telling the customer or the patient, say, what do you actually eat? What is your daily diet? I don't know. Oh, you're drinking a lot of alcohol. Oh, well, you should stop with that. ASAP, actually, as soon as possible. You shouldn't drink, Stupid drinking, Smoking, I should probably not smoke. Nope, that's not a good thing either. And, maybe try the meat diet where you only eat meat. Maybe that will work and stop the itch down there. But no. No, they'll just give you psychotropic drugs because, they'll just diagnose you as a nutcase, right? And then you're in the system and, eating these things that is just, not helping. And if anything, just making more issues for you. And it's just a roller coaster. It's a totally incompetent, wicked, diabolical system. As far as it goes for me. Oh, meat. Good with meat. That's wonderful. 800 grams of meat. I'm thinking, let's just make 800 and then I'll that will be a good breakfast. 800 grams of meat, and I'll, that should fill me up for a couple of time, and Instead of making it on twice, I'll just make it once and get that down. Get a pill more down as well. And I guess I'll just continue with these pills. Tablets, I think. No, capsules. Are they called capsules? Tablet, capsules, tabs, or capsules. I can't remember. All these words. Oh, whatever. I guess I'll get better to it. So, I guess I could read some more in regards to fungi. There's huge amount of things to read up on fungi, huge amount of articles and all that, and then I still have the itch, of course. It would be very nice to see if the diflucan would remove this itch, because if it is a fungi issue, which I think it is, then the itch, hopefully it would stop. If it begins to kill it off. I would enjoy that. If I could see it in my eyes, because I've heard people that have been on diflucan are saying that their floaters would be killed, they would disappear. And I'm like, that sounds interesting. So you're taking an antifungal medicine, remedy, whatever you want to call it, and your floaters in your eyes, what the doctors say are totally normal and everybody has them or whatever, I guess there are probably different opinions on these doctors, but they seem to be totally incompetent in regards to these floaters. You can go and look at people talking about floaters. Now, I do think there's different kinds of floaters in the eyes, but they seem to be just totally incompetent of these, and then they want to treat them with laser, which apparently also can make a lot of issues for you if you, and apparently I think I read a story of someone that actually committed suicide because I think that was in regards of a floater related, and he got it's so-called, he tried to get it fixed by a laser treatment, and it ended up giving him a huge amount of issues, and I think, if I remember correctly, and he murdered him, he killed himself because he couldn't. He had so many, he had some issues that he couldn't overcome them. He couldn't live with it, so he took his own life. It's just, again, very diabolical. It's like the stupidity of radiating people when they have cancer, which is fungus related as far as I can see. Cancer is pretty much just fungus. How do you make fungus in mice or rats or rabbits and so forward? Well, you inject them with fungus poison. So, mycotoxins. So, what is the case in regards of cancer? Well, it's fungus related at least. So, when people get cancer when they live in a building with mold, what could be the cause? Well, you're inhaling spores and you're inhaling poison. Now, by the way, I don't know if when they actually are injecting these things in the test mouse to get them cancer, diabetes, or what do you call it, or where they cannot use their brain and all that. I can't remember what that's called and all that. That seems to as well be fungus related. Now, of course, the medical system don't want to accept that because there's a lot of money in not knowing the cause. So they treat symptoms and they mistreat people, and it's actually incredible diabolical. Anyway, telling people how not to get diabetes, for example, in regards of the beta cells and all that, not having your beta cells destroyed, actually knowing the cause for the beta cells getting destroyed and having issues and all that. Well, there's not that much money in that, right? That's a huge amount of money, actually having every person in the world, on these, things that they need to inject themselves in regards to what's called insulin, It's as I understand it, it's like the golden egg in Denmark. It's like you take three companies of big companies together, and it's actually double the amount of these three companies together. You take Maersk, you take Carlsberg, you take Lego, which are three huge companies. You put them together and you double the amount, and there we go with the golden egg of Denmark, Novo Nordisk, apparently, because they pride themselves about this. I guess they need to because of these investors. They want money back or whatever. Big business, right? Whatever. I don't know much about these things, but yeah, it's just disgusting. Money before people. What other diabolical, it's just everything seems to be turned upside down in this society. And I see I got a message. I really need to get those books back to the library. Oh, I really have this book. I need to do that and get that out of the way so they stop, and it's also way too bad. I'm just late on getting the books back, so it's my fault, of course. And it's actually totally really, but there's so many things, and I just whatever. Papers everywhere, right? Papers on the table, papers on this table, papers on that table over there, on the floor, table, everywhere, and over with my computer and all that, trying to figure things out, trying to get deeper in, and of course, I have a lot of things also on the mobile to read. There's huge amounts. Try to figure out in regards of fungi, right? It's nice to have all the material available, all also the material on mycology in regards to the study of fungi, in regards of these books, and learning some of the words that they use, so you're easier, and their short forms as well, and all that, minimum doses or whatever it's called, you know. And I also have the report from the Danish doctor that I need to finish. But I must say, it's very small letters, you know, and it takes time to read, you know. It's just yeah, a lot of pages and a lot of things where it's like, okay, what is, you know, where it just flies over your head, right? But as long as you keep on continuing, it becomes more, and it's like, I guess it's like reading Hebrew or Greek or something like that. The more you do it, the more you pick up on, and the more the brain pretty much. So yeah. So hopefully I can get the diflucan again. I still need to get the diflucan, and I really, you know, that would be very interesting to see what would happen in regards to the diflucan, in regards to my symptoms. That would be, you know, I would be very interested to see what is going to happen in my eyes in regards to these candida strings and looking like candida and all of that. And the doctor just saying, oh, everybody has floaters in their eyes. Oh, really? So, you know, that's why people are talking about the floaters disappearing while they take diflucan. And what is diflucan? It's killing off fungi. It's fungicidal. So that means it destroys fungi. Well, you know, there's 7% chance that it actually might be resistant and not susceptible for it. But, you know, that's only 7%. So this should be, it's a good chance that it actually will work. At least for a time. Because, again, the fungi can become resistant to a lot of these remedies that the medical mafia has. And it seems like even Nystatin, that the fungi can become resistant to Nystatin that I'm now taking. So again, you know, when you're taking something, you know, the fungi might actually get to a point of where the things doesn't work anymore. So that's really sad. Anyway, and that's why I wanted to hit it hard, you know. So I probably shouldn't actually have started on Nystatin, but I'm like, you know, come on, we need something. I need to move, you know. I need to move. This is not going in the right direction. I need to try something. Need to see if it works, you know, and you know, see if it, helps me out. And again, I would really have liked to get the the diflucan before actually. And again, I have a couple of days to still try to get it, and you know, yeah. So. See if I can do that and find a place. I was looking in regards of Greece, but they have different web pages of pharmacy and all that. I wanted to see if they actually had diflucan in Greece that one could order from them. But there's you know, the websites are in Greek letters many times, and it makes it a little harder to actually, you know, search. You know, Germany was actually pretty good. Germany have English, you know, so it's you know, I found this pharmacy in Germany that was you know, it's a really nice website, really good, you know, setup and all of that, and interesting enough, the German pharmacy has huge amount of Nystatin products, and in Denmark I was like 3. I could only find 3 in Denmark. I'm like, don't we have any more? I don't know if we have more, but the information is like, seems like 3 different. We don't, you know. And I talked to the pharmacy in regards of Nystatin pills or capsules, and they said like they needed to be made. I'm like, made? What are you talking about? You know, in Germany, they're selling huge amount of different Nystatin products, you know, in regards of capsules or tablets. I think it's the same thing, isn't it? No, capsule is another thing. Okay, tablets. Yeah, capsule are the thing that you fix together, right? And the capsules are the hard ones. So, okay, so yeah, there we go. Again, it's just hard with all these words. So you can get the capsules in Germany without prescription. And again, very nice website. So I don't know why we only seems to have the fluent version in Denmark. You know, I know I have 3 versions, and one of them is with sugar. You know, probably because, you know, that doesn't taste so good. I haven't tasted it yet, you know. I'm still in regards, so maybe I should. I was still thinking I'm waiting a little in regards to the fluid thing and all that. But maybe I should try to to try to have a little of the fluid thing and see if I see any variation of that in regards of the pills. But it seems to work, it seems to. And again, having it in tablet form, very, very small, It's very, very easy to have like this with you in your wallet, for example. It's a little harder to have the fluent version with you, on the road. If you're on the road, that's a lot easier. And it's like 5,000 per one single little, while the other thing is like 100,000 per milliliter, So anyway, should still be good to go. There's still some month in it, and it's standing outside. I actually had it in the fridge, but as I understood it, even if you open it up, it can handle 2 months outside. So before going bad. So that's great. Oh, it will be good with some food. Some good meat. Meat is medicine. Red meat is. I just saw some in regards of this woman that also had a lot of. She had amazing how many issues she had, and she was on so many of these filthy drugs, mistreatment, of course, in regards of they can't figure out what is wrong with her, and they give her all these and money for the medical mafia, the medical industry, and they're there to earn money. Now, it was a capitalism. That was the word. I don't think, when people defend these industries because of capitalism, that's just bullshit. No one should have an organization, an industry based on deception and lying and murdering people. That's just not okay. That's just outrageous, If you know how to make cancer in rats and mouse and rabbits and all that, if you know how to make diabetes in mouse and rats and cats, in rabbits, and if you know how to make them in regards of dementia, in regards of mouse, rats, and rabbits, if you know how to do that, well, and actually know the cause, how they, because you need these test animals so you can test your products and all that. Well, how do you in the first time make these sicknesses to these, dementia? How do you make dementia? How do you make cancer? How do you make diabetes in these animals? Well, if you're injecting them with fungus poison, yeah. It's just incredible, and I do wonder when they inject these these animals with fungus poison and all that. There's other ways as well where they can, push forward for, and also feed them sugar as well. Some of these test results and these tests that they make are just outrageous. I remember I was Shaw Baker's, what is it called? The guy that also only eat meat. And he said something in regards of that they tested in regards of meat, in regards of cancer, and the meat was like has been promoted as a second carcinogenic thing, and the other thing in the meat, that was like processed meat was in the first category of carcinogenic in regards of causing cancer, and the normal meat was like in the second category and all that. So how did they make these tests? Well, apparently he says, well, they give them, they give them meat, and then they give them some other drug that apparently makes them actually have cancer. But he didn't say what it was, but of course that would probably be some antibiotic, fungus poison. And then they also feed them with sugar. What? And you then conclude that, meat is, bad. What are these screwballs? I remember when I was on DTU, the Danish Technical University. I remember talking with one of these guys, these totally brainwashed guys, and I'm talking about, well, if we have 100 people with cancer, 100 people with cancer, and they have been sentenced to die by the white coat murderers because they're misdiagnosing them and doing all these filthy practices of burning them with radiation and poisoning them and destroying their immune system with chemotherapy and chopping them up pretty much with the knife, right? So I'm like, okay, so we have 100 patients, 100 customers that these white coat people have diagnosed to sentenced to death. That's, hey, you're going to die. And that's, so, we can't do anything more for you. You're going to die. Okay. So let's say we have 100 of these and we save all 100 of them. Let's say all of these 100 survives and they actually don't have cancer anymore after these white coat butchers have diagnosed them to die. Then this guy I was talking to said, well, you have to have a control group. You have to have a control group. Really? You have to have a control group? So you have to have 100 that are, diagnosed, and then you have to have 100 others that you don't, do these things that you do to the other hundreds to save them. Do you really need a control group? If these white coat murderers, these Latin spouters and all that, drug dealers of the medical mafia and, throwing their fungus poison to the left and the right and all that, their mold poison, selling it as medicine. Well, if they have diagnosed them to die, all hundreds of them, they have said, we cannot do anything, you will die, a month or two down the line or whatever and all that. And you say, and all the hundreds are getting saved because you're doing something, to help them, maybe rid them of fungi, get them on a diet that doesn't feed the fungi and actually get them back on track. And you tell me that I need a control group to check if things are working. What other bullshit? What other bullshit? What is this? This is like mania. Oh, you need a control group. Oh, yeah. If you have 100 that is sentenced to die by these, so-called clever people, well, and these hundreds are getting cured, why would I need a control group? What's the idea of seeing 100 other people dying off? Because they didn't do, it just doesn't make sense to me. This is just unsensible. It's just, there's no reason in it. It is just totally, it's just the madhouse. It's just a madhouse. It's an utter madhouse. It's just incredible how these people think. I don't understand it. How people can think like that. Hey, if we're saving people, we're saving people. Or if we're curing people, and as I understand, cure is from the Latin or something like that, means to actually take care of. As I understand it, we might use it a little different today, but that's anyway. I need to look into that more, but wouldn't be a surprise. Okay, we have the meat over here and all that. Isn't it interesting that you, as a customer, as a patient, you can't really, this diabolical system is it's not working. Look at the people. More and more people are getting sick. More and people are getting issues, and now more and more people are getting dementia and so many issues, cancer and all that. Hey, the cure of cancer is just around the corner since forever nearly, But it's good business. It's really good business. And people pour money in these systems and continue to pour money in these systems and continue to collect together to get these different treatments, and a lot of people are getting killed. And no one dares to talk about it because people have a tendency of becoming really, really angry. I guess it must have been something to do with diabolical angry. Why wouldn't we want to talk about it? Why wouldn't we actually see and look for an alternative way? Because apparently the orthodox or the so-called right way is not working. Anyway, there we go. More and more people getting sick. Oh yeah, by the way, the guy that I talked to yesterday and, getting these pills and all that, and I was like, regards of changing diet and all that, no, he didn't want to change his diet. And, I'm like, if you're at the point that you don't want to change your diet, it's like, oh yeah, just take a pill, just take a pill because then I'm safe and all this, because I took the pill that the white coat murderer gave me. Yeah, that's, but yeah, it's just incredible, this system. It's like we're not even, the body, we should support and help the body. We shouldn't ruin it with all these different things. And again, in regards to fungi, the best thing, of course, would be to prevent it and, have antifungal foods incorporated so we are not getting sick and that we actually prevent these things before it goes haywire. And then the medical, industry and medical mafia needs to wake up in regards of the issue of fungi, but they're not interested in doing that. And why would they be interested in doing that when they are making huge amount of money? And by the way, most Satanists believe that we're too many people on earth anyway. So, this is the idea of Satanists. Oh, we're too many people on earth, let's kill some more people. That's incredible how diabolical people are, Anyway. So, oh yeah. Food, we'll have some. This is great food, Meat is good. Meat is wonderful, I'm so, it's just how people could promote this vegan bullshit, and get me off track so I wouldn't have tried a meat diet in the past and many years was a vegan. It's just utter bullshit, that people would do such a thing, Who knows who sponsors these vegan bullshit movies and all that? Had I just known about the meat thing, I would just, if I knew that it actually works, against my issue down there, that was actually my primary issue and actually my only issue for a long time. If I could just have been eating meat when it began, it would probably have been, I would probably have been able to turn the boat around very quickly, and I wouldn't have gotten all these other weird symptoms that the doctor just look at you and say, oh, he's just a madman, he's just just making things up and all that. It's like, it's just incredible, do they really think that men usually want to go to the doctors? No. And they pretty much, it seems like they know that, that men don't really like to go to the doctor, right? So when you have men going to the doctor, maybe you should listen to him. But of course, there's no time because we only have, 10 or 15 minutes. And of course, a lot of him, and he needs to ride as well, So, pretty quickly to misdiagnose you and out the door so he can get to another patient and all that, because there's huge amount of sick people at the moment because they're mistreating them. The system doesn't work, or I guess it actually works in regards of getting a lot of money, but overall in regards of health and all that doesn't seem to work. They're ruining people on so many levels, and on so many levels we could stop it. Why are women taking all these bullshit things? Well, they want to go out and whore to the left and the right. Well, whoring is a sin. We shouldn't have sex outside marriage. But of course, we're teaching our children that it's okay, don't find a husband or don't find a wife before you actually do the things and all that. And then of course you have sexual transmitted diseases that you can get while being loose and doing all these things. So you can also get sick by sexual sicknesses. Apparently I don't have any sexual sicknesses, as far as I know. So, that was pretty much one of the things when the itch came, that it might be a sexual sickness, who knows? Well, I actually think I was a virgin at that point, so when it actually began, so as far as I know. So, but, to rule out everything and all that, that was one of the tests that was done as well. Well, it's the fungi, and if you don't get the fungi sorted in the beginning, it just grows more out of hand, and you will just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Anyway, There we go. The breakfast is... Well, I've looked into, I really should get to a non... the problem is the butter has some sugar, and I really should get that out of my diet as well. Because it seems like it's the best thing just being on meat. So, still trying different things here and there, but at least it seems I'm on the right track on that. Sadly, would have loved to be on the right track, many years ago, because then I could have, if I had just had known that for 19 years, at least I had 19 years to actually test in regards from that foundation, and then I'm getting lured into this bullshit vegetarian crap, and just making things worse for myself. And but you're trying, and you think that these people, actually trying to help you, right? But I don't know if they are, but it seems like some of these vegetarian movies are actually promoted by, big business behind the surface. And again, it's just trying to make us more sick, because we you would think you would be able to trust sources out there, right? But it's just the market is full of bullshit, and misinformation. It's incredible. And it's just incredible. Anyway, maybe I wouldn't have had 19 years in regards to that. Maybe I would have actually had less years, maybe 10 years or something like that. But at least I would have, if I knew the meat was actually helping me already at that point, at least, on so many, before it actually, it's, whatever. And if I actually knew beforehand that alcohol was not the smartest choice and all that, but you tend to learn over time that alcohol might not be the best thing, and it might actually, it might help on the symptoms when you're drinking it and so forward. But that's just because you're feeding the fungi, right? That seems to be the case anyway. Oh, I forgot the salt. Meat and salt, wonderful medicine. I don't know, I guess it might be because we have destroyed and ruined our food sources on so many levels. And they know that mycotoxins actually can give cancer. Why do they know that? Well, if you go into the Food Administration page in Denmark, for example, they outright say that if you're eating mycotoxins over a longer period, you can get cancer, for example. They just say, for example, there's apparently other sicknesses that you can get beside cancer. Maybe diabetes, maybe a lot of other issues actually. But anyway, they just point out that you can get cancer if you ingest mycotoxins. And mycotoxins is fungus poison, which they talk about that on the Food Administration page in regards to Denmark, because some foods have more mycotoxins, and I don't know how they, I haven't gone further into it, but of course one can call them up or write them. Anyway, first and foremost, of course, is in regards to the diflucan. I need to have the pages printed out also, and read the pages in regards to the dentist and call the dentist up, and if they can actually, if they can fix diflucan, that would be nice. So around, I would say being on Nystatin around 14 days and then starting up with the diflucan seems to be a pretty good, I think that seems to be a pretty good idea, Again, because if you took both things at the same time, you might be pressing way too much, If you're killing both, both one place and the other place, and what you wouldn't know which symptoms you're getting from what, So I think it's a pretty good idea to first take one and then the second one. Also, if you have things in the gut, I guess, the diflucan might be, some of it might be lost in the gut. So if you fix the gut first with the Nystatin, at least that shouldn't happen, because the fungus will be wiped out, or at least, if it's not become resistant to it. So, yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of essential oils that is also said to be antifungals, and again, garlic. A lot of people talk positive about garlic, and But again, it doesn't work on its own. Apparently, I've tried. I tried a lot of garlic, taking a huge amount of garlic throughout my years, and again, as I understand it, the fungus can actually become. It can actually, after you take it and all that, it can over time can become like some resistance to it, so it doesn't have a problem with. That's another word, but it can be accustomed to it, and thereby it has no problem with it anymore. So, and that's why the people tend to rotate the antifungals. I found this naturopath in New Zealand. I don't know what his name is, but he talks about that his product, that you don't need to rotate his product. And he had put multiple antifungals in the product itself. So it would be interesting to try out. If I'm thinking actually, if I can, first thing is to get the diflucan, of course. If I can get the diflucan and get that hooked into it and hit it, maybe that would be a good thing to then go for the guy in New Zealand's product. If you don't need to rotate the product, so you could continue with the antifungal, wiping out, or keeping it at bay, so it doesn't really. I don't know, or maybe I should do the meat diet and only the meat diet. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I saw in regards of meat and all that and fat. There's some things where you can. Where you heat the meat instead. It's like a heat dryer or something like that, where you can make the meat without any fat. That would be a pretty nice way to fix your meat, I think. So I'll need to look into that as well. That seems to be a pretty good idea. So you wouldn't need, you just put it in and it blows it apparently, and yeah. That seems to be a pretty good idea as well. Or I need to have some animal fat as well. I need to look into that as well. But again, I seem to need to order it from the US. If it's like apparently, what is it called? There's this company that sells many different kinds of fat, which of course I need to check in regards of if they slaughter the animals to Allah and all that, because we don't want to have any fat that has been from an animal that has been sacrificed to a false god. So. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have much more. That's just incredible that you need to do all that. Again, a health system should be able to help the people when they are sick, or actually prevent getting sick. This is not what is happening in the world. The world seems to be, pushing for sickness and not prevention. And when you get sick, you're really, you're not getting the help that you need, because these murderers are working for an industry that primarily have the concern of money and not people. And that's not the way a system should work. They might earn money and this and that. There's no problem in them earning a little in regards of helping people. But the first and foremost, should be in regards of helping people, and helping them to talk about the cause. What is the cause of why you're getting diabetes? So we might actually be able to lowering the people that actually get diabetes. And actually be able to, maybe cure them, also restore them, restore the beta cells, and if you can get the cause away, and there might be remedies that actually can get them working again. Who knows? That's the body can, fixes itself all the time, right? So if we can just support it, we might be able to actually have, and of course, yeah, the industry would lose a lot of money, but it's people before money. It is disgusting to work just in regards to money, and then lying and deceiving and not telling the people the truth so they could prevent getting sick, or that we could begin to actually do prevention instead of just I guess, but the people doesn't seem to care either, you know. I just, you know, they just think it's a wonderful system apparently, and the system ends up murdering it. By the way, this is my yeah, and there's still a lot of. Well, anyway, that's my beef. That's my breakfast. Looks good, doesn't it? But again, you know, I really wanted to have to go to a 0 level of meat. Or sugar, sorry. Fungus love sugar, and we don't want to feed the fungus. That's pretty much it. Oh, the gloves, or whatever they're called. Pretty good. Probably eating too many, but yeah. It's really get you heated up in your mouth, that's for sure. It's like peppermint oil is also pretty nice to get you. Oh yeah. Anything else? Nope, I don't think so. Looking forward to my breakfast. 800 grams of meat should keep me pretty satisfied, and then go from there. And yeah, take some more Nystatin, and well, again, I don't really have it that bad at the moment. I'm actually thinking I could. Probably shouldn't. Probably should take a break, but because it didn't really go so good in yesterday in regards of the swimming. But you know, if I could get my body going, you know, more, and maybe take a swim today, I don't know. Maybe it's better with a little break, and you know, wait till tomorrow or something like that. It's nice to just get going on those. It's itching, you know, itching everywhere, and it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right anymore in my face. It's very annoying. So I also, in regards of if I actually take nice diflucan, and the dandruffs will, you know, if that stops, and the eyes cleans up, and the itching stops. That's 3 things that could happen in regards to diflucan, and apparently it closes it down again. That's 3 things that could happen with if the diflucan works, you know. I would enjoy. It would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. I would be yippee yay. And yeah, again, not going to the bakery. Don't go to the bakery. Again, if you have a fungal issue, meat seems to be the best food source for it. Red meat, cow or lamb. Cow or lamb. Cow or lamb meat. I don't know about goat meat. I haven't tried goat meat, but cow and lamb meat seems to be wonderful. That seems to be the best choice. There's no sugar in it. It seems to have things in it that actually helps you, or helps the body. And yeah, it's really, again, I wish I knew this years ago, you know. So anyone with an itch or an issue of other things, maybe, try it out, you know, I do remember actually when I did begin to eat a lot of meat, I do remember there was something in regards to the toilet issues in the beginning, probably eating too much fat in the beginning. I think there was something in regards to that. I don't actually have those problems anymore, you know, so I guess the body just needs to, you know, just have some time to get accustomed to the meat. I can't really remember that. I do remember that. I think there was some issues, and of course, if you eat fat, you can also get this issue as well. So, I guess it's might be more in regards to the fat, how much fat you eat compared to you know, than actually being the meat that is. So yeah, that's. I'm not sure why my memory doesn't work. Apparently I've thrown that out a lot, or maybe it comes back at some point. Again, there's so many things, you know, so many things to keep check on and all that. So it would just be nice if you know, if one can just find a diet that works for one, and one knows that it actually works in the right direction, then that would, you know, there's so many papers, you know, on health and, you know, things of that nature that I have around. And I don't think it's actually that complicated if you just figure out what it is that you need to do, right? So, But meat, yeah, meat seems to be the best medicine. Get some meat that is not slaughtered to Satan in regards of halal meat, and see if you can get from a natural source where the animals have it pretty good and all that. As far as I know, the sources I have is where animals also have it pretty good. I can't really check it, but it is from these where they have where they are pretty much having a picture of cows on grassing on the grass, right? Let's see, here we go. So you would expect that hopefully that the cows actually do have it like that. And it's also a, what is it called? Ecologic. I'm not sure if that's the right name. And here we have another of the products that are eating. And you see they're on grass as well. And it's also those that protects the animals seems to have validated the product for, so whatever. So that seems to be true. That seems to should care for the animals. And of course we want those that raise the animals to take care of the animals very nicely, and have a good life and so forward. And the same with chickens and all that. We don't want them to have a bad life. And of course we want them to eat natural sources, and we don't want them to be fed a lot of fungus poison, and so they can grow. And the money again, quantity before quality. I don't know why there's not more focus on quality and checking the products for quality, but as always, bullshit excuses it seems in this world. Oh, it's too expensive to test and all that. Really? Okay. It's too expensive to test for the customer to find out, how good the product actually is. Okay. Uh-oh. Drop that. Uh-oh. Just turning my big 800 gram steak. So again, the input compared to the output when eating meat can be very, it's incredible. The body uses the meat so effectively. When I was in vegetarian and all that, you could eat fruits and vegetables and all that, and you can go to the toilet 3 times a day, and it's pretty it's pretty soft and pretty good. It's easy to go to the toilet, it just comes out and all that, where on the meat but you have a lot of, when you put in, there's a lot of it coming out, so it doesn't seem like the body is actually using much of it in some sense, whereas the meat is just totally used up nearly. It's incredible. If you only eat meat, it's like, what is coming out is just, very little, and you're just like, what happened to all the meat? Well, apparently the body can use it, so that's nice. Nearly done with my breakfast. Not going to throw garlic in it today, just meat. And again, it just seems, if you throwing these things, and of course I want some antifungals and all that, but overall, the best seems to actually just be just meat. I have to test things out, of course, more, test things out. But it just seems like only being on meat, seems to have, at least you can, pretty much survive, eating only meat. So, and again, it's, meat is nice, I like meat, it wasn't because I didn't like meat that I became a vegetarian. It was because of these propaganda movies, showing, the animals have it, this and that. And of course we want the animals to have a good life, But that doesn't, you cannot just demonize, meat just because some people are not, are mistreating the animals. Of course the animals should be treated correctly. So, of course it would be nice to find a source that we can actually go and look and how the cows are treated and all that, But we have become so alienated in regards of our food sources. So I don't understand. We're allowed to have dogs, but we're not allowed to have a goat or a sheep. There's some laws in regards to that. I haven't looked further into it, but It's like, if a person is, it's the same size as a dog. So why not have a sheep going around or a goat or something like that? Have a variation that seems to fit, that could go around and eating the grass or whatever that that we have a tendency to use a machine to go around anyway, why not use, and then we use time on fixing it to, the trash thing and driving it to the trash thing. If we could just have a goat or a sheep go around and eat it for us, And then there's food on the table as well, but you could buy a new one each year or something like that. And then you would have milk as well, in regards to if you have you could get milk, and that probably should be enough for a family, I guess, in regards of a goat or sheep, it should be able to give enough milk, raw milk, so it's looking good. Looking really good. But of course the cleaning needs, those. So I'm just a mess in the kitchen pretty much, so yeah, making it as easy as possible is nice and something that works. So when you hear these stories that people have lived on meat for 20 years and feeling, don't have any problems with it, and I think, having this fungus issue and all these things that we have in the world, yeah, it would, if the fungi are the one causing a huge amount of trouble and sicknesses for us, which is actually the cause on so many things, well, if you're not eating what fungus likes, well, you might not get fungus issues, and thereby you might not get sick, in regards to those things at least. So, yeah, keeping the sugar down and drinking water or drinking natural things, non-pasteurized milk, for example. If you have your own goat or a sheep, you would be able to get a natural source that hasn't been ruined by these diabolical ways of insanity of the world. Yeah. First, they just give them food that is usually not for the cows, right? Then they put them in small rooms, these cows, so sicknesses can go, around. And thereby, then they put, stuff these animals with the fungus poison and hormones, and, whatever, And then the milk comes out, and then they're not at satisfied, it's now dangerous milk, so now we have to warm it up, and, this is a madhouse. This is a mad world. This is insane. Ruining a good product on so many levels. Wiping out the enzymes, the good bacteria, what was it? Yeah, the vitamins, the bacteria, and the enzymes, and so forward. It's incredible how stupid and how we, the people, are accepting this. I have no idea. Oh yeah, but some people got sick by milk and all that. Well, maybe you're not treating the animals correctly, and clearly you're not, right? So you're putting them in small places. You're giving them fungus poison. You're giving, all these things. Just incredible stupidity and diabolic. Oh, the milk that is coming out of the cow that we're doing all these things to are now bad. It's now, it's just really bad. So we need to pasteurize it. We need to further destroy the product. It's incredible. Maybe you're not treating the cows correctly. Maybe you're not feeding them the real food that they are made to eat. It's just incredible. I don't know. It's just, what is wrong with it? It's totally wrong. This whole world is just upside down. Upside down. Oh well. But besides that, at the moment, actually not feeling so bad. It could be a lot worse at least. So, guess if I take a pill more, it might go down the drain. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, have a good one. I'll stop now, and I guess I babble a lot in some sense, and just going here and there, and there's a lot of things that actually maybe I should read some. I still have some on the mobile that I need to read in regards to fungus. There's always more to learn, right? But the thing is, it won't change the fact in regards of trying the things out. I can read now until to forever, but if I never try things out, I won't really get to the point of seeing how it works, right? Anyway, have a good one. May Jehovah bless you, and Yeshua be a most precious pearl, and the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, be in us all. Amen. Have a good one. Yep.